everyone, it's Tambarambaa, also known as Tammy Klinger here again. Thanks so much for joining me on my art journal channel today. And today I'm doing another Art by Marlene page, and this one is of course got lots of bold and bright colours, but this one's an interesting one to watch because it kind of didn't go where I expected it to go. So I had one of those moments where I was like, so this is, hopefully this one will be interesting for you to watch. So I grabbed the perfect size journal and just grabbed a page out of there, and then I began just using some of the paints, Marlene paints, watered down, so just to create sort of some watercolours but from the acrylic paint. So I began with some of the new cheesy, and then what I'm actually doing is popping a little bit of the paint onto a plastic sheet of paper there. So it's like could be old packaging, it could be off of a stamp, but yeah, I'm just popping some of the paint straight onto the plastic, then adding some water, and then just dabbing it, turning it over and sort of smushing it and splodging it all over the background. And then I also picked the page up and let some of that paint run down the page as well. So I was just trying to create sort of really messy background is what I had in my head at this point. So all I really knew is I wanted to use those I haven't used the Vellum paper pad yet. That is new to Marlene, so I thought I'd have a play with that. So I had an idea, but as you'll find out, that's not what happened. So I've basically just used, I think, the cheesy, a bit of the kissy, a little bit of the hot pink, which is one of the neons, and just drying off in between and letting the water drip and adding splatters. Okay, so now I grab a sheet out of that paper, the Vellum paper pad. I love that one with the sort of the paint markings on it. It's just gorgeous colours. So I decided to go with rainbows. I love a good rainbow, and I thought, that's easy. Let's just cut out some arches and see what happens. So I also decided that they look a little bit lost on the background that I've created. So I thought maybe they need some contrast with some darker colours in there. So I grab out the paper pack from Marlene's latest paper pack release, and I grab out that sort of black and white and green page that I've been saving, and I think, I'll cut a few arches in that and see if that makes a difference to how it's all sitting together. So what you'll see here is I'm shuffling lots of things around. I cannot get it to work. So what I had in my head and what is happening on the paper is not what I planned. So lots and lots and lots of shuffling. Now you'll also notice that the sun is coming in, that beautiful afternoon sun, which is gorgeous, is coming across my page. So it's creating a few shadows. So I'm really going to try in the next couple of weeks. I've had a lot on lately, and I'm really hoping that I can start to do some filming first things in the morning, and that will make a difference to the quality of the videos. So okay, so back to the video. So at this point I was really a little bit unhappy with it. It just wasn't feeling right for me. So I grabbed a sheet of the A5 all-round paper, and I've just with my fingers whacked some of the colours on. So I used some ballet, I used some happy, I used some I think it's Smurf. I think it is Smurf, and a little bit of the hot pink, kind of what I had around on my table. And I didn't overthink it, just whacked them down. And then what I've come in is with the new mixed element stamps, which I love, and of course I had to use the little rainbow one in there, but I also used a little leaf one and the little crosses and little dots. So again, I've just cut out some rainbows and arches, just hoping that this is where it is actually going to come together. So I'm still not sure, but I like that a lot better. I like the strength of colour in there better, but I'm still not sure that it's going with my background. So a lot of even if I don't use all of these pieces, which I actually end up not using all of them, they will be handy to put in my little tray to use in future projects. So what I did was pulled out a black sheet from the from my perfect size journal, because you can get refills in white, black and craft, and as soon as I put those arches and rainbows down on the black, boom, that was it. I was like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. So because the vellum does get a little bit muted down on the black, I wanted that real pop because I just love the colours in that particular sheet that I cut up. So I'm just gluing them with the sticky glue straight onto some white paper, and I love that sticky glue dries clear so you don't see any of the marks from gluing that down. So as you can see, hasn't that made a difference? Just that different background, it's really made the colours pop. So now I'm off, I know what I'm doing and I'm just simply using that sticky glue just to adhere them all down. And I really love the contrast of the arches I cut from the paper as well in there. So I've got 3. I often work in 3s, and I like the look of how they look, but I decide that black background needs a little bit of work. So I grabbed that sort of, I guess it's circles, drawn circle stamp that comes from that mixed element stamp set, and I just stamped that on a bit randomly in places using embossing ink. So then what I've done is I've sprinkled my white emboss powder over the top, and then I have tipped it off and heat set it, and you get that gorgeous white sort of resiny finish that the embossing gives, which I love. So I also love that these stamps that I'm stamping with, because they're a bit grungy, like I'm trying to create a bit of a grungy background. If I actually don't get rid of all the powder and it actually adheres to my page, not quite on the stamps but just in the background, I think that looks really cool. So yeah, I'm going with it. So I've also used the little triangular stamp from that same stamp set, and then I've come in with that, I think this stamp set's called Love, and I use it all the time, and I'm using that larger stamp that has the circular background and a heart in the center, and I've just stamped that, again working in my 3 clusters, but stamped it so that it's coming off of the page, so that it kind of morphs into the background, I guess. So now it's time to add my quote. So I've grabbed one of the sticky quotes, and I've used one that says, "Sometimes we break before we get to shine. It's called the glow stick effect." So I cut it up, and I think that's a perfect quote for this page, because I really, as I said, I didn't know where it was going, and but in the end it looks really bright and vibrant on the black, so I'm really happy with the way it's shining, and this quote just worked. So now I've just coming in with a white paint pen, and I'm doing some mark making, scribbling around some of my rainbow shapes, adding in some dots and mark making into the background. I'm just having a bit of fun doodling. Yeah, and then I also do the same with black. So it just ties those shapes that I've cut and put on the background. It just kind of really makes them feel like they're meant to be there by just adding a little bit of doodling and mark making. So I'm really happy now with how this has come together. Took a while, and I have that background to play with. So as you know, I discarded that background that I started with, but I'm not going to chuck it out. I will actually be back really soon showing you how to fix that. So what I did to save that page. So I'll leave you with some close-ups. As always, I'll list all the Marlene products in the comments. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye.